What's going on, everybody? How's it hanging? Welcome into another episode of HBCU Huddle. I am CJ, joined alongside, as always, by Mike. Mike, what's going on, baby?
Everything. We got another loaded show. Every week we bring you loaded show after loaded show, man, and I'm looking forward to another classic show. This is a 2-studio show.
Yes.
So we're going to be showing off both of our Grind City Media studios during this episode, man. So it's going to be a different look, but it's big time, man. When we get big time guests, we go big time studio, and then we come back here to lock it all up together.
Absolutely. We have a great show lined up today. We have a great interview with Southern Heritage Classic co-founder. Not co-founder. I always want to say co-founder. I don't know why I want to do that. Founder Fred Jones. Yeah. He founded it with himself, so it's just him. So we got that interview coming up after the commercial break. We'll also talk about the MEAC SWAC Challenge. We'll talk some about the Force Tour. I was able to be in the house for that. Is so much good stuff for us to talk about. It was all amazing. But first, Mike, let's start with that MEAC SWAC Challenge.
Yeah.
That is week 0. Y'all, you know how I feel about week 0. No need to rehash that. If you need to know, go back to last year's week 0. I go on a 5-minute tangent about how stupid it is to call this week 0. But we've got games this week. One of the games in prime time on ABC, 6:30 Central Standard Time. You've got the MEAC SWAC Challenge with Jackson State taking on South Carolina State. Mike, what intrigues you the most about this matchup?
I mean, just the fact that you're talking about a rematch of the 2021, Celebration Bowl. These two teams got together during Deion Sanders' first year, first full season with Jackson State, and they met South Carolina State. Jackson State was an overwhelming favorite, and South Carolina State and Buddy Pugh walked them down, man, and just basically controlled that game. It was, played at, South Carolina State's pace and tempo. And, the fact is, Buddy Pugh, they went 3-7 or something like that last year. They had a disappointing season, but they have a chance to right themselves a little bit with this kind of matchup. Jackson State's coming into this game. New coach T.C. Taylor, new energy with the program, a lot of new players transferring in and out. And, just to kick it off on prime time, ABC at 7:30. It's going to be the marquee game to watch, and you're going to see all of the pageantry from HBCU football right off the bat in week 0/week 1.
Week 1. If you're playing games, it's 1.
Yeah.
How many chips have you eaten? Have you eaten 1 or none? If 1 chip is in your mouth, you've eaten 1. The first chip is not 0 chips. We don't start counting at 0. We start counting at 1, Mike. That's where we start at.
But technically, is 0 a number?
No.
It is a number.
No, it's not. It's a thought. It's a thought. It's just there.
Is a number, or it wouldn't exist.
No, it needs to exist so that we can do the decimals and things of that nature.
Okay.
But
okay. It's a placeholder.
It's a placeholder
for a space that does not exist.
It's not. If your job said we're gonna pay you $0, like that, no,
you're not getting paid.
You're not getting paid. That's not a number. Again, think about it like a chip.
Mm-hmm.
If you eat a chip.
Mm-hmm.
You say that's 1. You start counting at 1. Mm-hmm. You don't say, you know what, I'm only going to eat 0 chips today and then eat a chip.
Okay. So if you eat half of a sandwich.
That's where the 0 comes into place.
Is that a sandwich, or is that not a sandwich?
That's a half a sandwich. That's where the 0 comes into play. That's 0.5
so
sandwiches.
It's less than 1.
It is less than 1.
But possibly more than nothing.
Absolutely, it's more than nothing.
So this should be 0.5 week.
Maybe 5. Let's go with it. It's half week. Half week. You brought up one of the things that I'm really intrigued by, and it is Jackson State. It's not. I don't like when people complain about transferring. I think that's silly. Coaches leave, athletic directors leave. We have the ability as grown-ups to leave various situations if we find something that is more beneficial to us for whatever reason. I think the players should have that access as well. But in this transfer era where teams are basically turning over overnight, I don't think we've seen it be this.
No.
And it is where Jackson State is a completely different team.
Yeah.
I have no clue what to make of them. I don't know, because it is, half transfers, half freshmen. They are not many, if any, players returning. We sat down with their coach.
Yeah, Coach Taylor. Yeah.
Coach Taylor during SWAC Media Day, and he brought up the fact, we got like 65 to 70 brand new players. So you've got new coaches and brand new players. This is Jackson State really feels like almost an expansion team, where you end up with a bunch of different players from a bunch of different teams. Nobody's really played together, and you're kind of trying to figure out as the season goes on. That's what Jackson State feels like to me, and I'm intrigued to see how all of those things come together in Taylor's first year.
Yeah, I am too. Because usually, traditionally, and not even traditionally, even as recently as just a couple years ago, pre-pandemic, all of the college football coaches that had successful programs talked about continuity and seeing a guy red shirt come back, build on that.
That's Mike. That's the Buddy Pugh system.
Yeah. Seeing guys build gradually and get better and develop. But now it's like, hey, my roster can turn over, completely in one season, and I got to be ready to go. Yeah. So the one thing you don't get as a coach now is the luxury to say, hey, I got all freshmen, or hey, I got all transfers. No, you don't. You got to still be able to produce and get out there and do it. And credit to Coach TC, because he's not making excuses. He's saying, look, I don't mind us not getting a lot of guys on the preseason all SWAC team. I don't mind us falling down a little bit in terms of the pecking order for where we're going to finish. It's just people don't know us yet. And once they get to know us, we get to prove it on the field. So this is the first test right here. You get to prove it on the field in front of a national audience on ESPN. And, again, you get to make your statement right off the gate. And I'm looking forward to it, man. There's a good chance that Grind City Media, HBCU Huddle will be represented out there in Atlanta looking at that game. We've been credentialed to be there. So, it's almost like, hey, kick it off, tip it off, week 0, whatever it is.
No, it can't be week 0.
Let's get to it because, there's a lot going on in this season, and there's a lot to get to for sure.
Absolutely. Do you got a prediction? I'm not going to make you give a prediction.
No, I want to give one.
Well, if you want to, Mike, you got it, because I don't want to give one because I have no clue what Jackson State even is.
And I don't have I have no clue of what Buddy Pugh has.
Yep.
I know what he's done. I know what I trust in terms of what he's been able to do. But I have no clue. I'm going to go into this game picking Jackson State just because I think pound for pound they have the depth, they have the athletes, they have the transfers that have come from a higher level. But I've learned my lesson many a times picking against South Carolina State and Buddy Pugh. But for the sake of this show, I'm going on record right now, and I'm going to say Jackson State gets a 24-17 victory in the MEAC SWAC Challenge over South Carolina State, 24-17.
I guess I'll go next.
Yeah.
I'll go. To start the season, regardless of division level of football, who can you trust?
Mm-hmm.
And that's my big thing in the preseason coming into week 0 or what have you. Who can I trust? How many people on your staff can I trust? How many people on your team can I trust? And I don't know anything about this Jackson State team.
Yeah.
And this is a new staff. Yeah. South Carolina State, you're right. Because of how they develop players, their guys, there's no warning. They just show up and it's like, oh, this is that freshman you've been telling us about who's finally ready to go, and he's a senior now. So I don't know much about their roster either, but I know what Buddy Pugh is and what he's done. And I think he is one of the most respected coaches in all of football, not just at the FCS level, not just at the HBCU level. So I will take South Carolina State 17, Jackson State 13.
Ooh, okay.
That would be mine. And I think that this game, much like last year's contest where we saw North Carolina Central, I do believe, kind of just like, here they go. Maybe there's something here.
Yeah.
I think this is the start of something, a special season in the making for South Carolina State.
That could very well be the case. I wouldn't be surprised, man. So we're both on the record. We got our picks. We're going to see what the results turn out and how that turns out in next week's show. And I guess that can unofficially kick off our pick sixes as we go towards picking games, right?
Mike, now we're getting to got to talk about numbers with you.
Yeah,
Mike, that was just one game. That's not 6 games.
That's not. That'll be the precursor.
Yes.
That'll be the precursor.
Yes.
So we got 5 more to pick next week to add it all up. Yeah. But we're on record, man, and that's fine. But it's one of those things where either team wins, it wouldn't be a surprise. Right. So it's big time. South Carolina State goes on. Yeah.
What would be a surprise? Either team winning or losing is not going to be a surprise.
Right.
But if X happens, this is surprising.
What would be a surprise to me is if Jackson State only scores 13 points.
Okay.
Right. If their offense struggles and they don't have any explosion, that's going to surprise me because their whole system is built off of getting the ball up and down. I mean, they averaged 446 yards of total offense last year, led FCS in touchdowns and those kind of things. They were a top 5 team on both sides of the ball. Now, I know all of that has transferred out, a majority of that is transferred out, but the system is still there. So I would be surprised if they're not an explosive team. But it is week 1, week 0. So you never know. You know what I mean? So I'm confused. I'm confused.
I think that the thing that I'm hung up on is while Jackson State for 2 seasons, one of, if not the most explosive offense at the FCS level, all of that production is gone.
Yeah.
Travis Hunter is gone. Shador is gone.
Yeah.
Stud running backs gone. Stud receivers have now transferred. Some to FBS programs, some to Power 5 FBS programs. So while I think the system, you're right, T.C. Taylor's got the same system. He was there those years prior, and so I would imagine the system would still be the same. I wonder, one, if I don't think he has the talent that they had in years past. And I don't think that's a bold statement to make.
Right.
And 2, I question how quickly a brand new team can come together under that system.
True.
That is mine. I think surprising for me is if somebody gets blown out. That would surprise me. I think both of us had it a 1-score contest, but if somebody wins by like 18, 19 points, like, okay, hold up.
Yeah.
There's something going on here. Something strange is happening. These teams feel, to me, at least right now, evenly matched as far as the players on the field goes. I think schematically there might be a bit of a difference between the head coaches.
Yeah.
So if Jackson State will say, if Jackson State goes out there and wins, I don't know, 45-20, I'll be like, that is really, really surprising. That would be the thing that catches me off guard if somebody gets blown out.
That way. Yeah, that's true. That's true. And this is a pivotal game. It's hard to be pivotal coming out the gate like this, But Jackson State goes from this game right into the Florida Classic against FAMU, which, again, that has the last 2 years decided the East in the SWAC. You know what I mean? Whoever won that game got to the Celebration Bowl out of the SWAC. So, these first 2 games are going to be crucial for Jackson State. They play, I think, 4 out of their first 6 games away from their home stadium. Yeah. And then South Carolina State goes on to play up a division next week against a FBS team. So it's one of those situations where you want to start off with a W, and you're definitely going to need it because it gets tougher from here.
Absolutely it does. Last night, Mike, I was at the Force Tour.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh, it was incredible. It was amazing. I said it on the Jessica Benson show, and which you guys can watch on Grind City Media. Subscribe. I'll say it again. It wasn't a concert. It was a music festival. That's what it felt like. If I told you, here's the stage at Memphis in May, you'll have Dougie Fresh and Slick Rick, Rakim, MC Light. You'll have Jadakiss. You have Big Boy. You'll have Sleepy Brown. You'll have LL Cool J to close it all out. You say, oh, that's a really good stage. We're absolutely going to go there. The difference is throw Juvenile in there as well. How can I forget Juvenile and the Roots? The difference in the music festival and the concert component is the fact that a music festival, all right, MC Light is on stage. She does her set, 45 minutes. She's off. We got like 20 minutes to kill before Juvenile comes out. In the concert, no, it's just boom. It's just MC Light leaves and Juvenile comes out on. It's like, whoa. There was not a chance to calm down or bring it down. Everybody was having so much fun. Yeah. I'm then looking around like, yo, I can't be, because I'm I'm off in my own little trance. I'm like, I can't be the only one vibing, can I? And I turn to the right and somebody's getting it, and I turn to the left and somebody's standing on a chair, Mike. Oh, it was great. And that's your boy right there, Mike Rakim.
That's the God right there, Rakim Allah, the #1 greatest rapper of all time in my book. I've been on record year after year. I even dropped some bars on the Jessica Benson show earlier this week, in tribute to the man right there, the legend. He's not a myth. I'm not going to say myth, but he's the man and the legend, Rakim. Just the way that, again, what surprised me, and you were in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Right? That was your clip, courtesy of CJ.
Courtesy of me, baby.
There you go. We got to give attribution where attribution is due. The thing about it to me, and my wife and her best friends went to the show as well, seated not too far from you. So I was getting clips like that throughout the show. And what kept hitting me was that the energy that was on the stage from start to finish, a lot of these guys, especially Slick Rick came out and admitted, he's not 19 anymore. He's 58.
Yeah.
Right? Dougie Fresh is pushing 60. Rakim is pushing 60. And these guys are still bringing that energy and that stage presence. It's the 50th anniversary of hip-hop this year. What a wonderful collection of artists that I grew up watching. That I came of age during that era of hip-hop. And like I said, man, it was just, I was there. I was there symbolically. You were there in person.
It really was an ode to hip-hop. It really was. It felt like every song that was done out of love for the genre.
Yep.
And that was so amazing. And even if you didn't, rock with all of the songs a particular artist had, you were up on your feet for that performance because the energy just moves you so much in that way. Now, you said that the missus was near me. She didn't see me, correct?
Nah, she didn't see you.
Okay,
she didn't see you
good.
Until you wanted to be seen.
Okay, good. Because the kid was wilding, Mike. Your boy was out here trying to get it.
That's it,
I was trying to get it, man.
That's it.
Slow motion does something to me, Mike.
Juvie.
I love slow motion so very, very much. That is my jam. That's my and then he had the audacity to quote that famous American Stephen A. Smith, the unmitigating gall to go out there and let us be Manny Fresh and back that thing up. He let us do the Fresh verse.
Yes.
And so that was the other thing. It's while I love seeing Jadakiss, and I love seeing Rakim, like seeing them without their people, seeing Big Boy without his people,
Andre
without
3000
Dungeon Family, Eric B, without the Locks. I guess that was kind of like, oh man, I would love to see them all together to completion to finish a song out. Juvenile without Cash Money, much the same. Juvenile without Manny Fresh, much the same. And so what usually happens is the artist will, like if it's Big Boy, he'll do his verse, his 2 verses, and I'm Sorry, Miss Jackson, and then move on to the next song, just bypass 3000's verse. Juvenile was like, nah. With this one, y'all have to be Manny Fresh.
That's it.
It is like, oh, yes.
That's it. So what'd you hit? What'd you hit, man? Don't set it up without bringing it home. What'd you hit?
Oh, gosh.
I know you can't stand it. Stick Bandit.
No, it wasn't Stick. See the drop hand. Can't go get it, y'all. Can't hit it, y'all. Put the on the, and then y'all feeling kind of lonely. I'm feeling, I get in the middle like Monet. Big plumber chick. In a hummer chick. Like the drummer chick. Like, come on, man. Only it was not edited. I have that video. And so I dropped a bunch of videos on my social. I was like, okay, I'm just going to drop videos to show people I was there. Trying to get engagement or whatever the goofy thing social media is supposed to do for this job I'm in. And I was like, okay, I'm going to drop that one because the crowd went crazy. Did not realize you could hear me in the background the entire time with all of the words.
There you go.
All of them. I was like, no, I can't share this video. Can't do that.
You get an excuse absence on that one. You get an excuse on that one.
Can't show it. Can't show it. But it was so much fun. MC Light was incredible. She stood out. And listen, man, hearing Dougie Fresh beatbox.
All these years later.
Seeing it live in person, completely out-of-body experience. I was telling my wife, I've had 2 musical out-of-body experiences this year. At Beale Street Music Festival, Gary Clark Jr., what he was doing on that guitar was incredible. And then last night, watching
Dougie
Fresh go out there and just start beatboxing in person. It was, oh my gosh, when is he, like, this is amazing.
And see,
is.
Here's the thing about this, man, is that the first time I ever saw Dougie Fresh, he was on a movie. He was on Beat Street, right? He had a scene in Beat Street where that was what he got introduced at. I think that was 84. A year and a half later, he came out with The Show. He and Slick Rick. That was 86. So think about it, man. Like, we're 2023 now. That's almost 40 years ago now when you think about it. So it's one of those deals where for him to still be able to do that 40 years later with the kind of energy you need to pull it off.
So talent, much energy.
Yes, man. So that's what resonated to me, man. So I'm glad we had a chance to experience that. I'm glad you had a chance to live through it and see it. Big time show, man. And there are plenty others that come in the FedEx Forum. So you know how it is, man. You guys stay locked in with us. We're going to connect you to the shows. But that was one of those ones that you definitely put a check mark by that you had a chance to do it.
LL Cool J was incredible also.
Of course.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. All right, listen. We got to take a break. We'll be back on the other side. We are talking to Southern Heritage Classic founder Fred Jones about this year's Classic. He'll also share a little bit of insight on the JSU saga and situation between them and the Southern Heritage Classic and so much more. You listen to HBCU Huddle on Grind City Media.
We're going to change clothes and switch studios, and we'll be right back.
Yep, absolutely.
This is the Nike Air Footscape Woven.
Yep.
So this is kind of a lifestyle running shoe.
Yep.
That's sold out?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
These
have resale value, too.
Those have resale value on them.
Footscapes are comfortable.
Footscapes are so
I love
comfortable.
Footscapes.
They're so comfortable.
Light.
They're hideous to look at, but they are so comfortable.
It's a cow.
Yeah, they're comfy.
The
Just
top
not that
area.
one. Don't look at that
top
particular
area.
one.
The Sneak Fest Show, live Tuesdays at 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Can't be quick, can't be tied. Can't be tied. I be in a loop, she be in a group. Brody want a friend, don't alley hoop. Turn something to nothing, bro, I'm living proof. How can I lose when we the who's?
Game number 1 at FedEx Forum, the home opener, the New Orleans Pelicans.
They've put New Orleans in the last couple of seasons in some key matchups, put them on national TV. They're trying to develop that rivalry between these two teams that are so close together.
Hey, Grizzlies fans, be sure to tune in to Grizzbeat, where the panel and I break down all things Grizzlies and take a look at the rest of the NBA as well. The show is live every Wednesday, 2 p.m. on YouTube at Grind City Media and the official Grind City Media app.
Yeah, hold up, park the Rose truck. Why not pull up Lambo car and pop it with the doors up? This got colossal, I got models trying to pay me to tell her the price then went up. It's gonna cost more than the buck. Know that gonna be high, it got my name on this chronic. Driving slow now, but this car goes 0 to 60 if I punch it. She wake up and munch it. Let me pull your...
Welcome back, everybody, into this part of HBCU Huddle. This is our Culture Maker segment, the segment where we take a look at those making a big-time impact for HBCU sports culture, etc. Please be joined once again by Fred Jones Jr., the founder of the Southern Heritage Classic. Mr. Jones, how's everything going, man?
Busy.
Absolutely. We're so glad that it is Classic season is right around the corner. September 9th will be the actual game, but there are a lot of events that are taking place this year, as is the case every year. You got Gladys Knight coming through, and we talked last year around this time, and you shared with us that you had a relationship. You were a part of Isaac Hayes' crew. You went on tour with him for a little bit. Did you know Gladys Knight before you scheduled Gladys Knight to come through and perform this year at the Classic concert?
Oh man, I mean, I've done so many shows with Gladys Knight and the Pips over the years. In fact, we did a big celebration in 1984 with James Brown, B.B. King, Albert King. We had Tina Turner, but she didn't play. And Gladys and the Pips were closing out that week. Or when she played in Atlanta for the Olympics. The same weekend, we did a show at a Marine base in North Carolina. So I've done countless number of shows with Gladys Knight and Pips for years, and consummate professional about our craft. I mean, easy to work with, no diva, nothing. Just do her job and have a good time.
Mr. Jones, I know that, one of the things I love talking to you about is music. We talked about that last year, and we all agreed, CJ, that what happens on the road stays on the road, right?
Stay on the road, baby.
We can't get anybody in trouble. The statute of limitations doesn't apply, when it comes to all that fun we have on the road with these music acts. I grew up big-time fan. I mean, Gladys Knight is one of my favorite artists of all time. I used to love to say that I'm the inspirational love child of Teddy Pendergrass and Gladys Knight. If they had a child together, it would be me from that standpoint.
Wow.
That's in terms of what what I grew up listening to. But that's just one part of a remarkable week and weekend of events. As we lead up to kickoff, what are some of the things that fans should be most interested in? If you had to help someone set their itinerary for the weekend, what would you have on there to say, hey, you can't miss this, and definitely be there for that?
And you know what? I avoided that. Because what we wanted to do was, it's like going to the buffet. You got everything there, and you decide what it is that that you would like to participate in, what you enjoy, and that's been our model for many, many years. So people have developed over time the events, the routines, where they eat, how they're going to get around, navigate all the traffic. I mean, all of those things are they planned it out. But again, my job or our job is to have the events laid out where people know when they are, where they are. If you got any questions, deal with that. And that's kind of what that's kind of the model that we've always used. And if I'd say one event, attend the football game. That would be the one for me.
I saw you said when you consistently produce a quality event, you're going to draw good numbers. However, the real test is being able to maintain the quality that got you here in the first place while attempting to top yourself every year. With Jackson State not being here, how much are you leaning on the fact that, hey, this is an event for the people in this community every year, and we're banking on the ceremony and ritual of all the fun things that happen at the Classic, regardless of the teams on the football field?
I think that when you look back in our history, there are a lot of things that have happened for the Classic. I mean, a lot of issues. But I think the foundation has allowed us to weather that storm year in and year out. Because every year is different. It's always something every year that you have to deal with. I mean, we've had the extreme things of weather, COVID, 9/11, Katrina, changes early on in the when we first started, and of course a change this year. But because we have such a great foundation, people have been able to pivot to, okay, now what's happening this year? And that's the beauty of what I learned in doing this. You don't get too ahead of yourself. You look at what's happened this year and you have people to focus in on that, and that's what we're doing.
Mr. Jones, when we talk about that, and CJ asked about Jackson State, we've moved forward. From that, you have two great teams, great regional programs here, Tennessee State and Arkansas Pine Bluff. And I know dozens of UAPB alum and grads around here. We were just at a SWAC alumni picnic.
And they showed up.
And they showed up, and they're passionate, you know what I mean? And they're vocal. They have that pride with them. What has their participation been like in terms of coordinating with them to make sure they bring it for the Classic this year?
Man, it's wonderful to see.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, and I realized early on that there was somebody on that team who understood social media, who understood graphics, who understood presentation. I mean, you know, I kept seeing this over, it kept coming out every day. So somebody on this team, you know what they're doing. So we've been able to, you know, get together and have a focus on what we're trying to do, what they want to do. You know, this is a big opportunity for them. And I told them when I went to see them back in November, this is a different world when you come into the Southern Heritage Classic. Everybody in America knows about the Southern Heritage Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're not going to come in and and nobody knows. I mean, you know, you're going to get calls, and lo and behold, as we got more into this, they say you're right. People calling. There's a lot of the alumni from here, from around this area, and around the country, and that's been good. But they've been great to work with, and when they came with this UAPB 901 takeover, I said, oh.
I can't drive home without seeing 3, maybe 4 Arkansas Pine Bluff billboards
Actually,
now.
it's 8 of them.
Okay. Well, I don't go everywhere. I go down Lamar and then down Park, and so that's where they sit for me. So there's one right there off of Park and Parkway before Parkway becomes Airways, and then there are a couple driving down Lamar from downtown. Look up like, oh, UAPB. Like they're doing a good job of trying to get that name out there ahead of the Classic, to try and generate some sort of excitement that's already there.
Well, I think that that's the beauty of what I've been talking about for years. There's when you have the Classic, we have the foundation in place. So you take one plug out, you plug another in, but the foundation is there. And going back to the fans, they know what they want to do, when they want to do it, and how they want to do it. As long as you don't change that, you're fine. Now, if you just disrupt where they got to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to do it, then you got a problem. But UAPB and Tennessee State has really stepped up, as they say in the sports world, they stepped up their game. It's no question about it. You can see it. It's not say, oh, guys, they're doing all of this. You can see it everywhere. You can feel it. And they have a tremendous number of people in this community who have family and loved ones who have gone to UAPB.
So, Fred, I'm sorry, Mike, real quick. Just, I know we're focused on this year's Classic, but it'll be remiss of me not to ask, are we doing a revolving door now with one of the teams? Are we looking at trying to have Pine Bluff be that other team to go against Tennessee State, or have you even thought about that yet?
Well, I'm going to answer the last part of it first. I haven't thought about it.
Okay.
I have not had any discussion with anybody with Jackson State regarding Jackson State and the Southern Heritage Classic. Our focus is and will remain on UAPB. That's where we are today. That's all I wanted to, talk about, focus in on. And I understand what people, why they ask the question. Jackson State was in the Classic for 29 years. Okay, you don't get it up. You don't walk away from that, and people, but
I mean, it would be like Bayou Classic moving on from one of Southern or Grant, like that would be wild.
This is a good point. When they had the problem with Katrina and they had to move to Bayou Classic, when they had to move to Houston, and everybody know the reason why they had to move, but it was a major change. You disrupted
that foundation
everything.
That's what we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
What we gonna do in Houston? They got to figure it out. Okay, now, coming into Memphis, you know where you want to stay, what you want to do, and the one thing that we have that gets no interruption. We have the best barbecue in the world.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So,
and the best concert. Don't sell yourself short now.
Well, no,
the best concert, the best barbecue,
best parade.
You know what I mean? Best parade.
I'm a parade guy.
Best scholarship functions.
College fair is great. I've been to
yeah.
Tuskegee's homecoming parade, Tennessee State's homecoming parade, and a handful of other parades for major HBCUs. And there's nothing like that parade that comes marching down Park Avenue on the Saturday before the Classic.
Yeah, well, again, that's what we are focusing in on. Okay, there was a change was made, but it's focusing on what we have right now is UAPB and TSU, University of Arkansas at Pine Bluff versus Tennessee State University. That's it.
Yep.
And go enjoy that.
Yep.
Because I think that's what this is. It's about enjoying yourself and the pride of HBCU. There's nothing like an HBCU game. Nowhere.
No question. And last from me, I want to give a shout out to Diane Martin, big time UAPB supporter, alumni. She was in the middle of the SWAC picnic, with the group there.
She told us to go get a plate. So we showed up. We didn't know anybody. I didn't tell you this. We didn't know anybody at the picnic because the person we know is Mr. Gates.
Yeah, Mr. Gates wasn't there.
Kelvin Gates wasn't there.
Yeah.
And so we go and we kind of sit down on the outskirts. She walks up like, "Hey, who are y'all here with?" Like nobody. We just out here like, "Hey, go make y'all a plate, baby."
There you go. That's
go
the family. So they were cousins. Now they're brothers and sisters in the Southern Heritage Classic. You talked about just enjoy it for what it is right now. And one of the things I know, and based on your history, you're going to be working. You're probably the one person that's not going to be able to just have fun because you're going to have that headset on. You're going to be listening to a million different voices in your head. But just walk us through what that day is like for you. And we all want to give you your flowers every year for this. You mean so much more to this community than the Southern Heritage Classic. However, this is one thing that's going to carry on traditionally in a legacy. What is that moment? What is that day like for you outside of the work in terms of, hey, I helped build something that's going to live on for a long time here?
Well, my grandchildren are two sometimes three of my grandchildren are with me. They follow me everywhere and they doing work and what have you. And that day is like you wear a lot of hats. You got sponsors, you got fans, you got just all kind of last minute things. I'm saying anybody that's ever been involved with an event, it's like a basketball game. Sometimes you got a schedule of everything when it's supposed to happen. Sometimes Murphy's Law just kick in, and you got to go and you got to switch right now. You don't have tomorrow to work with it. But when you see all of these people having a good time, and you mentioned about when you went to the HBCU picnic, at the tailgate, you don't have to know anybody. Come on over here. What you want to eat, what you want to drink, what music you want to listen to. It's all there. And you can't, some of the stuff you can't create regardless of how much money you had. That feeling, that vibe as we call it. It's special HBCU world. That's what we have in Memphis. That's what we have this year. And I'm really looking forward to it. It's something I call the X factor. Is the weather. If the weather cooperates, it doesn't matter how hot it is. The rain always slows people down, but we've gone through that, and people adjust and go on from there. But just to watch it that day, for me, I'm going. Come over here and meet my family, meet my kids, meet my grandkids. And this is my grandparents. You go through all of that. Come get something to eat. I mean, I can't be on a diet. I just a little. You got to sample something. You got to go take a picture. You know, man. That's fine. That's part of it. And the other part of it is the staff. You know, we have a meeting starting at 2 o'clock that day, and it's so structured. I mean, you guys understand what I'm saying. Yeah. Every minute, every break, everything is structured all the way to 6:05. So, it's a lot of things to do, and it's still not over then. I got the headset on because somebody is directing. There's a director that says this is what should happen, and none of us can talk. We can't talk. I'm not in control of none of this. I'm being told what to do, where to stand, where you been, why you not standing over here. But that's part of it.
Two things, and then we'll let you go. I know you got a lot of stuff to get to a couple of weeks out from the Classic. First, we talked last week, Mike, about the financial impact of North Carolina A&T on North Carolina. What has been the financial impact for the Southern Heritage Classic on the city of Memphis?
Oh, it's been consistent, more than $20 million. It's been consistent with that, the impact, that part of it. But I think that the bigger impact, and a lot of times we all get caught up as far as the numbers are concerned and money is concerned. But on a smaller scale, there are some businesses that are going to have their biggest payday the weekend of the Classic. Now, they may not get into, when you're doing the audits and the surveying and all that stuff. But I hear from them all the time, catering and car washing and shoe shining. We don't think about that in the big picture up here, but for them, it's a really big deal. So that's when you realize what this has become. Getting back to the schools, they've been able to share more than $14 million over the course of the Classic. We started from rock bottom with this, and to be able to maintain it. But the economic impact to the city is just tremendous. In fact, the host hotel, which is the Memphis Sheraton downtown, is sold out.
Oh, wow.
Already. So things are trending in the right direction. We got a ways to go, but as long as people are moving and doing things, then we'll all be fine at the end of the day.
Last thing, and then we'll get you out of here. At the end of every Classic, I end up stumbling across you like, hey, Mr. Jones, we did a great job this year. When I talk to you this year, because I'm pretty sure I'll find you at the end of the fifth quarter, when I come by Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium, shake your hand, tell you what a great job that you did with this year's Classic and how much fun my family had at the Classic. What is one thing you hope everybody says leaving the Classic, this year's version of it?
Probably because of what is happening in our community that we all know about. It's like the 1,000-pound gorilla in the room. Be safe. Okay. That is always in your mind. I mean, there are a lot of things I can't talk about here about what happens when you have a big crowd. There are a lot of more entities that are involved in the safety, but we want people to be safe. Have a good time, but safety is paramount, and hopefully when people say, we had a good time and things, my family and we all safe, then that's when you know it's really right. The numbers will take care of themselves. The numbers be whatever they are, okay? But being safe, and again, that people can enjoy our community. That is very important. That they enjoy not only the Classic, but they enjoy our community. And when we can make that statement, job well done.
There it is. There it is. And the last thing, when are those tickets go on sale for next year? Top it off with that one.
Thank you so much for everything, man. We appreciate you coming on to the show like you do every year.
Yeah.
We look forward to enjoying ourselves at the Classic. Mike and I will be there.
Yep.
Mike's making me work, so I won't be able to do any upside-down videos somehow. But I'll still be able to have a good time. Thank you so much for coming on with us. And that has been HBCU Huddle. For Mike, I'm CJ. We'll talk to you guys next week.